Hi, I'm Tom, this is a Casual Hiker's Guide, and today we're going to be doing a review of, what I take in my day pack when I go day hiking. The very first thing that I take with me, obviously, is a bag. This is the Osprey Kestrel 38 litre, which is a pack that has done me very, very well. It is a bit of a large pack, admittedly, but the size of the pack, I can fit in Kerry's stuff, my stuff. If I go out hiking with family, I can take lunches for everyone, etc. It's great from that perspective. The other great thing that I love about the Kestrel pack is, and this isn't a review of the pack really, it's just to show you another item that I take with me. It's not this back piece, although this back piece does have something to do with it. It's actually the water pack that I carry. What do you call it? Hydration pack, or whatever the name of it is. I can't quite remember at the moment. Yeah, that fits down the back of here, which is great. Obviously, if you want to carry a water bottle, etc., you can just carry those in the sides here, and a smart water bottle would be perfectly fine. In terms of how much water that you want to take with you on a day hike, I would say anywhere between 2 and 3 litres. I would say 2 is probably a minimum. You should be making sure that you've got enough water to get yourself through the day, and you don't want to be caught out. And I have been before. I've taken, I think I did take 1.5 litres. I think I took on a fairly short hike, and I thought I'd be okay, but it was super hot that day, and you just need to make sure that you've always got enough. Really, even if it is cold and you're not drinking enough, you want to make sure that you have enough and you are drinking it, because water is important, not just for hydration, but for your muscles and everything else as you're going. If you feel yourself cramping up, it may well be because you haven't had enough water. So we've got all of that stuff. Now obviously I'm not going to go through camera equipment, etc., because they're things that are not really that important. I mean, they're things that I take with me, but not everybody's going to take with them on a day hike. What I am going to talk about is just first of all layers, what I take in terms of what I wear, and then extra layers that I bring in my bag. So merino wool socks, I rate very highly. Honestly, I just wear a pair of Danish Endurance, which I got off Amazon, and I rate them. I think they're very good socks, but there are lots of brands out there and it's worth trying lots of brands. I've only ever bought the Danish wool ones. I have now got a pair of waterproof sealskins socks, which I'm trying out, and so far so good. But depending on what shoes you have, depends on what, whether or not you're going to need waterproof socks. The shoes I've got at the moment are not waterproof shoes, and they're very light and they're great, perfect. So that's the only reason I'm trying the waterproof socks out, just to see how they go. If you've got a pair of, good sort of waterproof boots, you're not going to need waterproof socks. Speaking of footwear, obviously just make sure that you've got something which you're comfortable with. I have got a review of the Outras, which you can go and watch if you want to have a look at, sort of the trainery sort of footwear that you can have. But just pick footwear that's right for you and that's going to be comfortable throughout the day. So that's a bit of a journey in of itself. And I think the fun part about boots, and the fun thing is discovering what you enjoy and what you like. I've spent a stupid amount of money on boots, but that's another story. So going up from there, I think, obviously a good pair of hiking trousers is a good place to start. I now wear a lot of the time shorts and sometimes leggings under those shorts. But, a good pair of hiking trousers is always good because you can wear them in pretty much any weather if you've got a good pair. Underpants, extremely important. I'd say if I was going to recommend a pair for men, I would say Saxx underwear are very good. I've got lots of different pairs, and across all different price points. I think Saxx are sort of at the right level. They've got the right price. Then we've also got the clothes that you're going to wear, t-shirts. So I would say merino wool is fantastic for all of your layers, really. I wear merino wool socks, merino wool t-shirts, so that's always a good thing to have. The t-shirt options that are available, there are many of them. I would just say make sure you've got something which isn't cotton. All over, I just avoid cotton. Over your t-shirt, then I would wear a jumper. A jumper's a good place to go. After the jumper, I then have in my pack a few different options in terms of layers that can go over the top of that. I'm obviously not always going to wear the jumper, by the way. The jumper is what I wear during winter months. However, if you're out hiking, day hiking, I don't know if I would pack a jumper necessarily. I've got 2 other layers which I always pack with me, and I think if I was getting cold, then I could always pop on one of these. So the first layer I'll show you is my synthetic down jacket, which is this one. So the synthetic down jacket is a fantastic jacket, one that I love very much, and is extremely warm. So that's always a good option to have, because if the temperature drops, that can just pop on over a jumper or not over a jumper, depending on what I'm wearing that day. If I'm not wearing a jumper, like I say, probably wouldn't pack it in the bag. I could just stick that in the bag and that would be enough. If it's jumper day, then I'll already have the jumper on. The other layer that I bring with me is just a waterproof layer, which does also act as a windproof layer, and it just means that I've got something, if the weather changes and it gets wet, I've got a really good waterproof layer underneath. So I've got those. I also have, in terms of clothing, a pair of sunglasses, especially obviously in the summer months, but I mean sunglasses can be good year round. Snow can get very reflective and can be quite, annoying if it's a really bright sunny day. I've also got a snood, so if it gets cold and I get wind in my face, then I've got a snood to cover myself and keep my face dry, and keep me from getting any wind chill. The other thing that I would have is some form of a hat. Now obviously in the winter, which it is at the moment, I will be wearing my my winter hat. If it is a summer hike, then I will be wearing a cap, something to keep the the sun out of my eyes or whatever else, or off the back of my neck. I mean, I look like a 90s teenager a lot of the time, because I've just got my cap on backwards, but it stops me from getting sunburn around the back of my neck, etc., which is great. That's the layers side of things. So now we're going into, I suppose, a few more specifics. So we've done clothes, we've done water, we've done the pack that you're going to wear. The next thing that I bring with me, being the old man that I am, is a pair of walking poles. The walking poles, for me, give me additional stability, especially in sort of wintry conditions, etc. But coming down hills, I can find that sometimes that can be a lot of impact on the joints coming down, and I'm quite a cautious walker. So, if I'm going a bit slow because I'm trying to make sure that I don't trip up or anything, I try running down hills now if I can, but if I am going a bit slow, these are great just for that added stability and just reducing a bit of the pressure on the knees and stopping any sort of pain going on there. So that's for those. Another essential is a head torch. Oh, bloody hell. Yeah. Right. So I can't see anything at the minute, but head torch is an absolutely great addition to, to have, especially if you're doing long day hikes. You might find yourself getting caught out and it gets a bit dark at the end during winter, etc. And that's not really a place where you want to be stuck. Another thing that I carry with me, and I think is an essential, is a battery pack. So I've got a battery pack in a dry bag. I just think it's a necessity now, to be honest. I use my phone for GPS a lot of the time, and if that ran out, I'd be in trouble. So I've got a battery pack. However, don't rely on your phone is another thing, and we'll move on to that now. So I also carry with me, I just grabbed a random map. This one is the Kendal and Silverdale, Windermere. Okay, so the southeastern area of the Lake District. And I've also got a compass. Learn how to read map and a compass. I would say you're going to get away with day hikes, and you're going to get away with using your GPS and your phone. And if you've got a battery charger, I would say that you're in a good spot. If you drop your phone and it goes off the side of a cliff, you can't charge that then, it's gone. So I would say that map and compass is really good. Don't let people put you off. Buy a map and a compass, take it with you, and keep it with you, and the idea is to learn. There are a few little things about map and compass, for example, setting the compass up for each individual map that people don't necessarily think of. So it's not just a case of taking a few bearings, but if you have the map and compass there with you, then at least you can have, and things get dire, at least then you can have a go at it. But do try and learn how to use a map and compass as well, because yeah, they are very important things to have with you if things go wrong. Alongside a map and compass, what else do I take in case of emergencies? Let's stick with that, although it depends on what kind of emergency. Now this is at the moment a completely overloaded medical bag. It's got so much stuff in there that is not needed. For example, the talcum powder, which I didn't realise that I'd left in there, and a whole reel of KT tape. I went hiking in October, which means I haven't really streamlined this down since then. But I went hiking in October with some friends, and we did the Edale Skyline, which is why I've got extra stuff in here, because I had stuff for them as well in case, you know, things didn't go right for them. I've got in here all sorts of stuff. I don't even know what that is. The point is that there are paracetamol in there, there is tape in there, there's Germaline in there. I've got some pills for, or some tablets for water, so you can add it and get extra electrolytes out of it. You know, all sorts in there. I've got suntan lotion, I've got smidge spray. I've just basically got everything that I'm going to need for a really long day out. And a lot of that stuff can come out, such as the talcum powder, that can come out. You're going to get by with some Vaseline if it gets really bad after a long hike, but you're not going to need all of that in there. And that does actually, in that bag, by the way, there is a content of a first aid kit in there. So I've got, you know, gauze and bits and pieces in there. How many times have I actually had to use the first aid kit? Maybe like 3 or 4 times, I guess, for headaches and sore feet, those sorts of things usually. You know, obviously chafing is an issue if you're out for a really long day hiking. So I've had to use it for that. And I have once had to use it for an injury, but that's pretty much it. I have used the tape before to strap up somebody's shoe as well. But that's really the first aid bag. It's a great thing to have with you, and it is something that you should carry. You know, it just makes sense. You should make sure that you have a first aid kit with you. Right, I think we're nearly done. This next bag is probably the most embarrassing of all the bags of things that I take with me day hiking. This is my poo bag. So if you're going to be out for a long day hiking, it's just good to have it, to be honest. It's in here I've got a little shovel, very lightweight shovel, so I can dig a hole. I've got plastic bags, I've got toilet paper, I've got hand sanitizer, I've got all sorts of bits and pieces, so I can take, you know, the horrible stuff like the toilet paper, etc. out with me and bury, you know, the other horrible stuff. But if you're going out for a long day hike, you're not going to find a toilet. You genuinely don't want to be caught without stuff like that, stuff that you need. So the very last thing that I'm going to go through is a snack. I don't take lunch with me. I find that you don't tend to get as hungry as you think you might do when you're out hiking, but what you might need is some extra energy, some extra sugar, and a Kind bar, peanut butter and dark chocolate, is actually perfect. It's got nuts in there, it's got chocolate on there, and that will just keep you going for a while. Obviously if you're out with friends and things and you want to bring a lunch or go and sit somewhere nice, I think a lunch is a great thing to bring with you if you want a reason to take a stop. Sometimes you can forget just to stop and smell the roses, as they say, and a lunch can help you do that, because you'll be on top of a mountain, you'll be like, oh, it's 12 o'clock and I've got that lunch to eat, I might as well just take a seat and find a little spot to sit and have a nice lunch. So that's my that is my day pack. Those are the things that I bring with me. Summarise, what have we got? We've got the bag, water, you've got extra clothing in layers including things like hats, etc. as well, you know, to protect you when the wind changes or the weather changes. When the weather changes. I've got my hiking poles, things that, you know, help me stand upright, and in case of emergencies, obviously I bring my phone with me, and that's got its GPS, etc. on it, but I also bring alongside that battery pack and a map and compass to make sure that I've got navigational tools and I can find my way home if I lose my phone. And then I've also got first aid kit, poop kit, and yeah, and some snacks. And that's basically it. Any questions, or if you've got anything that you bring in your day pack that I've missed out, please leave in the comments below. If you think I'm taking too much, which wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I didn't start out with all of this equipment and I got by just fine. These are just what I consider now my essentials, like I wouldn't leave without them. But you know, if you've got any comments about my kit or anything that, you know, you want me to talk about, if there's a specific item that you saw that I took out and you're like, what was that you had there? Just ask me and I'll be more than happy to tell you and answer those. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that video, and keep an eye out for the next one, which will be next week. I've got a video coming out for Mo something. It's a castle. We went to a castle, and that's coming up next week.